Hi, everybody. This is Nikki joining you from the third day of SMR Congress here in Nice. I am joined today by Kevin Roberts, CEO Worldwide of Saatchi Saatchi. Thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.
I have had the pleasure to go through the new red paper put out by you and your people very recently. It's hot off the presses, I'm told. And it's really interesting. So one of the things, just to jump right in, one of the things that we are really interested in as researchers is been a thing, up and coming in the industry in the last few years, is the recognition of the need to shift our focus onto emotion, and that's really what this is all about. So I would love to hear your thoughts on why emotion is so important. That's what we've got in here, but
12 years ago, SMR invited me to speak, and I took it as a provocation because at that time we'd just written Love Marks, and we were embarking on this journey of emotional marketing. It's now very sort of part infradig and part of the environment, but at that time, people were sending for ambulances and men in white coats to take me away and to get back onto product benefits, product attributes, etc., etc., etc. So my challenge to the research industry then was, listen, you guys are moving now from information and knowledge to insights. That's very good, but let me tell you, insights are not very insightful. They're very generic. We need much more than that. We need to be anticipatory. We need to be participatory. We need to be visual. We need to be emotional, because that's the way, over the next decade, marketing, media, and consumers are going to go. And the industry took up that challenge. So imagine, they've asked me to come back 2 or 3 times, and I've said, no, not yet, no, not yet. This year I said yes. Why? Because you guys are ready. You're up for it, right? Inspiration is the theme. Who would have thought it 10 years ago? Every researcher I talk to now is going, we got it, we understand. We're not just scientists, we want to be artists. Not only do we want to learn and see, we want to know how to learn and see. So it's a tremendously exciting time for your industry. So I can't actually wait to get on stage and talk to the people that are here about that. Because there's no doubt, to win today, you have to have IQ plus EQ plus TQ plus BQ, intelligence quotient, plus emotional quotient, plus technology quotient, and BQ, bloody quick. And that's what we're counting on you to help us with.
So that actually leads to my next question, which is, how has your relationship, or maybe the relationship between the advertising industry and the market research industry, evolved over the years? Because it started out fairly dicey back in those days.
Yeah, I don't know very much about the advertising industry, because the first thing I did when I joined Saatchi Saatchi sort of 18 years ago was to cross out the words Saatchi Saatchi Advertising Worldwide and replace it with Ideas Company. Sort of everybody's an Ideas Company now, or claim to be, but 16 years ago they weren't. So I think from an Ideas Company perspective, we're now seeing you not as the enemy, as we thought you were 10, 12 years ago, but as our greatest partner, okay? Pretty much anyone now can tell you what consumers say and what they do, right? And big data, we got all that, and it's very helpful and very important. It's not enough. It's table stakes. What we're looking for from the the leaders in research, the new breed of research, is tell us not what consumers say and do, but how they're going to feel. How are they going to feel? Give us guidance on that. Help us on that. On our side, we're getting rid of the old school creative directors who thought that research was just a way of inhibiting creativity. They're going. And we're saying we want progressive modern creatives who will work hand in hand with people who know consumers and help us get to the future first. So it's a very exciting time, because consumers, marketers to a certain degree, agencies to a certain degree, because we're also a bit dinosaur-like, and research companies to a certain degree are all on the verge of moving into this brave new world together.
So one of the things that stood out to me in this was the point that you make about technology, which is that it is simultaneously ubiquitous and intimate, which is something that we all talk about as researchers because we're trying to use mobile technology to find out about consumers and to get into their worlds and to really understand them. But one of the questions that we keep having to ask ourselves is it too ubiquitous or too intimate to be in somebody's life all the time?
Yeah, I'm speaking at INSEAD in 2 days' time. You know the great French business school for the world, and they're talking about three things: digital, diversity, and education. And one of the things many of the speakers are talking about in the digital thing, is how we must be seeing that now as the ultimate one-on-one intimate conversation. And if you use it creatively, if you use it empathetically, it can be a groundbreaker for us. If you use it as a crutch, it's going to be a shocker. If you use it on a quant basis, a shocker. But can it liberate us to get us there faster if we use it intuitively? Absolutely yes.
Okay, last question, and keep it short for you. One of the themes that's come up in the last few days here among researchers is there's been a lot of even clients, big clients, Coca-Cola and other clients, talking about how they've actually had to fail several times in terms of doing research. They've tried certain methods, they tried certain approaches, and it didn't work. And they've actually now realized that it's important to embrace that failure, and then they get actual success out of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the idea of embracing failure from a brand loyalty perspective. Is it possible?
Yeah, they should all have listened to Tom Peters 25 years ago when he said fail fast, learn fast, and fix fast. So that's the way of creative people. Clients have never really embraced failure. They've always tried to explain it, analyze it, incrementally change it, shift it, Forget that. In today's world, the consumer's very forgiving. As long as you move fast, transparently, and most importantly, you learn and fix. A lot of the research techniques clients have got history on is a history of it not working. And we keep doing it over and over again. I don't think actually that's driven by research companies as much as driven by clients. So as soon as they can liberate themselves, and it's great to hear Coke talking like that, then I think your industry will move like lightning.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for watching.